Well, it's another day on Sodor. Things seem to be moving along as usual. The engines are happy, the weather seems pleasant, and we recently got introduced to our first female steamy. I wonder what kind of new things will appear this time. I'm actually quite intrigued at this point.
One day, mist and rain swirled down Toby's line. Percy was delivering a load of fresh tomatoes. Suddenly, he felt a big bump. "Bust my buffers!" Percy cried. "What was that?"
Ah, so it's a faulty rail problem that'll be of today's plot. Luckily, Percy wasn't heavy enough to derail. However, he did have the right idea, and that was to warn the rest of the engines and Sir Topham Hatt of the problem, thus saving other engines from possible derailment.
"I've got important news! The tracks on Toby's line are wobbly!" huffed Gordon. "Old and wobbly, just like Toby. That's not news. Can't stop to listen to your silly chatter."
I mean, Gordon's not wrong technically about Toby, but he is definitely silly for ignoring that warning. Does he not remember his tumble from a season before? How does he forget these kinds of accidents? Must be the chrome dome of his. Surprisingly, though, Percy was able to find Top Hat rather quickly.
"Thomas, you ought to collect the prize bull. He's at the farm on Toby's line." "Yes, sir." "But those tracks are wobbly," cried Percy. "They are safe enough," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Bye, Percy."
Wow, Top Hat, are you seriously discrediting Percy? An engine who has been on your island since, like, forever? That's a shame. And why didn't Thomas hesitate on that? He should know better, too, about unstable rails. Mind you, he's had his fair share, like down the mine, and Thomas gets bumped. I guess he'll find out with that bull of his.
The rain had made the tracks more wobbly than ever. Suddenly, there was a deep rumbling sound. Thomas's driver applied the brakes, but it was too late.
Somehow I think Thomas should have thought over Top Hat's claim that Toby's line was good enough. I guess Gordon wasn't interested this time in derailing, even though he very well could have for not heeding to Percy's warning. And that mudslide kind of looked like crap. So now it's Thomas, his bull, and crap.
Late that night, Thomas still hadn't returned. Percy was worried. "Thomas is in trouble," he said. Gordon and James took no notice. "Worry wheels," huffed Gordon. "Fussy funnel," said James.
Why is everyone so skeptical of Percy? I get that he's a cheeky tank engine just like Thomas can be, but he's done nothing trickster-like at all as of late. At least 2/3 the drama queens at Sodor don't care, and not even the big man pays attention. Thankfully, Percy's crew is a little more understanding. Bless those little figurine dudes.
"Percy!" cried Thomas. Thomas was very happy to see his friend. "I'll have you out of there in no time," said Percy.
That's always a good thing, and it's nice that Thomas appreciates Percy's persistence to come help. Although I am curious, what was Thomas's crew doing? Have they been sitting in his cab the whole time? How about the bull? Has he been sitting there for like half a day? That seems pretty ridiculous. As was Percy's strength, which was ridiculously strong.
And finally, Thomas and his driver were free. "Oh, thank you," said Thomas. "I'm glad to be useful," smiled Percy. It was dawn before the track was cleared.
Really? So this little endeavor took a whole evening? Yikes. Sounds like Top Hat needs some kind of Sodor search and rescue center or something. I don't know. It sounds a little necessary, right? Especially when an engine goes missing and literally only one other character cares. I guess that'll be for another time, though.
"Percy saved the day," said Thomas. Agreed the bull. "I'm sorry, Percy," said Sir Topham Hatt. "We must do a better job of listening to you in the future." Percy was pleased.
Finally! It's about time somebody acknowledged Percy for his work. The fact that he freelanced to go find Thomas instead of staying put was pretty brave on his end. Then again, when nobody believes you, are you gonna really care even if you end up breaking the rules? Probably not. More importantly, the fact that Top Hat knew he was wrong was good to see. Just because you're the head of the railway doesn't mean you know everything. Also, just because certain individuals joke around a lot doesn't mean they're always being silly. What I think is more surprising, though, is how Gordon didn't fall off the line in this story. In some ways, the narrative could have followed that, but it's good that they didn't. Otherwise, it really would have felt like a repeat of Gordon Takes a Tumble from the prior season. Music in this entry was okay, but nothing that has a signature theme. Then again, it's not expected that a new theme be introduced every single story. However, Welk and Hartshorn could have reprised either Thomas or Percy's theme. I'm curious as to why they bothered not to. The locations featured here were also fairly standard. Tidmouth Sheds and Maithwaite are really the two to be featured most. The other part was Toby's branch line, which has been seen before, just not this area where the rocks came down. Next episode is Bill, Ben, and Fergus. Thanks for watching.